Batistuta is the best striker I've ever seen.
He had real faith and determination in himself, and those qualities made him very difficult to handle for opponents.
I just had a feeling that we were in the presence of a world-class player.
Argentinians should applaud him for what he achieved.
Gabriel Batistuta is the Argentine national team's all-time leading scorer with 56 goals in 78 appearances. His goals for both club and country earned him fame and fortune, and today he spends most of his time back home in Reconquista in the province of Santa Fe. If he'd been allowed to have his way, though, a career in football would probably never have happened.
I used to watch games, but I was never that fanatical. It's not that I didn't like football. I liked playing it, but I wasn't certain of making a career from it as a player because I always had the fear of getting injured and having to quit studying or not being able to study what I wanted.
Jorge Grifa is the man to whom Bati owes his career. His CV as a talent spotter includes Carlos Tevez and Fernando Gago, amongst others, but Batistuta is by far his biggest success to date. Grifa's determination eventually convinced the teenage Gabriel to take up the game.
At first he didn't look like a footballer because he was a big lad, and when he shot, the ball could go anywhere. But he'd almost burst it because he struck it with such power. He didn't know how to head properly, he didn't have the typical physique of a footballer, but I thought, if we can get this big lad to fit in, he can produce the goods.
Grifa's judgment was astute as Batistuta went on to earn the nickname Batigol for his ability to find the net regularly for both club and country. And thanks to perfecting that powerful shot, that was usually from outside the box.
My story really begins when I was growing up here and I was in the local team. One day the Argentine national junior team had a friendly scheduled. I can't remember where exactly, and the match got postponed. Because they'd made the long journey from Buenos Aires, they quickly arranged a game for here.
The man who became a legend in his country's blue and white stripes scored both in a 2-1 win that day, which impressed Grifa's spies. When he also performed well in a provincial youth final for Reconquista in Rosario, Grifa offered him the chance to join Newell's Old Boys.
He said, no, I don't want to, and things like, I live a long way away, I've got to study. So I said to him, look, I'll give you the option of coming down to study for a year. He said no, because of this and that. So I said, I'm going to speak to your dad. Let's try and bring you down for a year. We'll let you study, and we'll put you up in the dorms of Newell's Old Boys. Let's take it from there and see what happens.
Batistuta wasn't keen on leaving his roots. He was, and still is, a country boy, born in Avenida in the north of Santa Fe province, some 800 kilometers from the capital Buenos Aires. From the age of 6, he grew up in the neighboring village of Reconquista, where he lives today. So determined was Grifa to get his man, he sent a colleague to seal the deal.
On the Monday, Jorge said to me, look, Carlos, we have got to have that player. You've got to go to Reconquista to bring him here. We've got a lot of faith in him. So I went there. I spent 20 hours there. I went to Gabriel's house, and we were well looked after by his mum and dad, until eventually they decided that I could take him with me to Newell's.
So despite reluctance on his part, Batistuta finally headed 460 kilometers south to Rosario, Argentina's third city, in 1988. He wasn't joining just any club either. Newell's were champions of Argentina at the time and a club renowned for its youth system.
When I went for the trial at Newell's, I went more through a sense of obligation. I went because it gave me the chance to continue studying, as the club said they would pay for my education.
He started in the fourth team, but his education soon took a backseat as he progressed through the ranks. He made his first team debut in September 1988 and played in the final of the Copa Libertadores, which Newell's lost. But Griffa had no sympathy for his protégé's financial worries.
He told me that if I wanted to stay there without studying, I had to work. So I started to cut the grass on the pitch and cleaned windows, so I had some money. My dad never gave me money because he told me that you've got to work in life and pay your own way.
It wasn't long before he was doing that as a professional for Newell's. Batistuta began to earn himself a reputation, and opponents regarded him as the man to mark.
I remember our conversations during the week preparing for the game when we had to face Batistuta. We used to say, watch out for the animal, because we knew that if you gave him a chance, he'd put it away.
He knew his limitations, but he had great strength of character and determination. I think Gabriel got to where he did most of all, though, through sheer hard work and his ability to overcome adversity, which says a lot about him as a person.
His form soon attracted the big boys of the Argentine game in the capital Buenos Aires, and after just one season in the first team at Newell's, Batistuta, a self-confessed fan of Boca Juniors, joined Boca's arch-rivals River Plate in 1989. But initially, life in the capital wasn't pleasant because River coach Daniel Passarella chose to leave him out of the team.
I had a tough time at River, and that helped me, in fact. I was more focused mentally. I was 20, almost 21, and they prepared me mentally and physically as well. And that really helped me to cope with a lot of situations.
Batistuta became frustrated, and he was on the verge of returning to Newell's until his beloved Boca stepped in with an offer. The rest is history. A regular run in the side saw Bati start scoring again, and he became a hero to Boca's fanatical support. But it wasn't all plain sailing at La Bombonera.
When he joined Boca, the first 6 months were far from easy for him. He was in and out of the team, and when he did play, he didn't contribute anything. But that was understandable, because he didn't enjoy a run in the side and his confidence was low. It was easy to play alongside him, though. He was very practical and well aware of his strong points and weaknesses.
He finished top scorer with 11 in the 1991 Clausura Championship to help Boca finish top. But they lost the title in a playoff to Newell's Old Boys, who'd won the Apertura. He developed an almost telepathic understanding with Diego La Torre, who usually acted as provider.
We never won the title during my time there, but 20 years on, people still remember us. On the field, we understood each other really well, and we definitely gave the fans a lot of excitement. We never won anything, but we're still in the fans' memories. And myself, even after all these years, I'm still very much loved by the Boca fans.
But Batistuta was soon on the move to Europe and joined Fiorentina of Italy in mid-1991. That was thanks to finishing that year's Copa America as the tournament's top scorer, with 6 as Argentina regained the title. His Boca teammate La Torre was due to join Fiorentina at that time, but Bati's goal-scoring exploits in Chile forced La Viola to have second thoughts.
Fiorentina decided to change their minds. It wasn't Diego La Torre anymore, but Batistuta. I joined them first, and he stayed at Boca for another year. And then he joined me again.
At first, he wasn't the Batistuta we knew at Boca. But that was to be expected. He had to adapt. It was a new club, a different city, and a team that played in a different style to Boca. But then when he overcame those obstacles, his qualities suited the team perfectly. One-on-one, Gabriel would punish you, and that is exactly what he did in Italian football.
That's an understatement. Batistuta became a hero at the Artemio Franchi Stadium, scoring more than 200 goals for the club, and is still Fiorentina's all-time leading scorer today.
Gabriel was inspirational, a leader. He was a player who helps you win games. It was great to play alongside him because he was great at losing his marker. When you looked up, he was clear of his marker. It was easy to set him up.
He was a player who improved so much over the years. At the end of training, he'd stay on and practice free kicks and try to develop technically. After several years of doing that, it paid off. He did improve, and you could see why he became such a great player.